All right. So I'd like to call this meeting of the Board of Supervisors of Elections for the City of Annapolis to order. It is Thursday, October 9th, 2025 at 7 p.m. It is a virtual special meeting due to having a lot of work in preparation for the upcoming elections. Roll call, myself, Eileen Leahy, Chair, Debbie Yatzik.
Here.
Liam Mercer.
Here.
And we're also joined by Regina Watkins Eldridge, City Clerk Teresa Buccalow, the Election Administration Assistant Ashley Leonard, the Assistant City Attorney, and also David Garris, who is the Director of the Anne Arundel County Board of Elections. All right, everybody. So any comments that were submitted, Regina or Teresa? No? Okay. All right. We can just go right into approval of minutes. We have quite a few to do. I separated them out into the Board of Supervisors of Elections and then also the Board of Canvassers because they are two different groups. So why don't we go ahead and start the minute for August 21st, which was a regular meeting. Any changes?
I move that we accept the minutes of August 25th, August 12th.
21st.
21st.
First.
Oh, wait, I'm on August. Approval of the minutes, August. Oh, that was what we had done. Yes, August 21st.
Second.
Second, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay. September 2nd, which was the Logic and Accuracy and Public Demo meeting. I had a question. Under those minutes, it says review of campaign fund reports. It only lists Papaglianti, but yet below it, it says that we approved his along with Tori and Kunha. So my recollection is that we must have looked at all three of them.
I had the same comment on this.
Right.
I think we looked at all three, so we can take out either add the other two to the bullets or take out the Papaglianti bullet, and it covers it either way.
But I think we can put in that we reviewed all three of them and then approved all three of them. Or just say review and approved. I mean, but all three of them were reviewed and approved.
I concur.
I concur.
Okay, so can we make a motion to accept them when amended?
Motion to accept the September 2nd minutes with the amendment to add the bullet points for the additional two reports that we considered to be consistent with the line below, the sentence below.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay. September 12th.
I had no comments to this one.
I didn't either.
Yes, me neither. I move that we accept the minutes of September 12th, 2025.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Next one is September 16th, which is the primary election day. I had a couple of notes. It seemed to be some odd wording where it said, Member Mercer moved to remove late fee waiver from the amended report. Did we vote for a late fee waiver? I thought we just didn't accept it.
No. So we moved at the end to scratch the initial. We decided that the city was responsible for imposing the fees, not us. We didn't address. We wanted to scratch the first thing that happened in that meeting, which was assessing a late fee for gay. So we we're scratching that because it wasn't a waiver related item. I don't know if we have to, if they have to be separate things, or if we can just take them both out. Based on, I don't know what the parliamentary rules of that are, but that's what happened.
I just want to ask, does somebody have music on? I'm getting music.
Same.
I don't know what I'm hearing.
I hear something in the background.
I don't hear it now. Okay,
Oh.
great. Maybe Madeline fixed it. I'm sorry, Liam, you were saying?
So at the end of the meeting, we recognized that it wasn't, we weren't responsible for imposing the fees. The fees were automatically imposed. We're only responsible for adjudicating the waivers. And so we had moved
Okay.
to scratch the first thing that happened in that meeting, which is on there, which was imposing a fee on Alderman Gay, because we had decided that that wasn't our responsibility to impose the fees.
Right.
So
I'm
I don't
just-
know if you want to take both of them off, or if we need to leave them both in and change the language of the second one to be more clear about what we were doing with the first one. But I would say we should take them both off.
Okay, well, I was just really kind of focused on the Corinne Makel's.
Oh, I'm sorry. I thought, okay, we weren't talking about the same thing now.
I know what you're talking about with Dawn Gay, and I think that's fine because we imposed it and then we changed it. My question was, it says Member Mercer moved to remove late fee waiver from the amended reporting period for Corinne Makel. And I guess I thought it would be Member Mercer moved to not
To reject. It should be reject.
reject or to not approve, yeah.
Yes, it should be reject.
So take out, remove, and replace with reject.
Okay.
That's not actually what happened in the meeting. We have to record what you did.
Well, that's what we did. I mean, we
Okay,
didn't
well,
remove a late fee, we just rejected it. We rejected the late fee form,
The waiver.
the waiver.
yeah, but the language in the minutes is what the motion was stated at the meeting. The language from the motion that was actually stated at your meeting.
Okay. Well, is it clear that we're not removing the waiver? We're rejecting the waiver. Is it, as long as it's clear?
My notes are reject.
Yeah, I would be surprised if that was the language I used in that meeting. I know we don't have that on video.
You are correct.
So there's no way to go back and rewatch that one. But we all know that we were moving to reject. I mean, if we leave it as remove, I guess we still know what we did. It's not clear to the public.
You could make it clear in your minutes from today.
Okay. I just don't think that I don't think I would have said it that way.
So can I get a motion that we're going to change the minutes to reflect that it's reject and to remove the remove? That's what you're saying, Regina?
Okay, fine.
Okay.
I mean, if you prefer us to do something else, just tell us.
No, I didn't, because remember, those were the meeting minutes that Cindy did, and I gave them to you to review, and you gave them back.
Well, I wasn't reviewing that specific area. We were reviewing another part, but.
Okay, that's why, because I wasn't there. That's why I was asking.
All right,
Yeah.
well, I think
I
the
mean-
word reject more accurately reflects what we
Right.
did.
Okay.
So if I can have a motion to make that change.
Motion to change the minutes from September 16th to say reject instead of remove in regards to the waiver for Makel.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
So moved, okay. Another thing I had on that, I did know, did we need to note that when we were in transit at all, Regina? We were still in the board, but in communicating by phone, but
No, I
We
don't
don't
think,
need
I
to,
don't think you
okay.
did that.
that's all I had.
I had two other things for that
Okay.
particular minutes. Would like to request that we specify who voted for in opposition, which was me, in terms of both of the approval of the two waiver, or there's two waivers that were 2-1, and I voted against approving both of those.
Okay, so did you do that on a roll call vote?
Yes, we
We
did.
did.
And it says a roll call vote. It just doesn't specify who said.
Okay, so we'll put, yeah, absolutely, we can add that. And so
Yep.
you voted no?
Yeah.
Okay.
The other, just because I know we're going to have more of these and I want people to be able to look back at a consistent record for myself.
So how did, can I just have
go ahead.
1 minute? Debbie and Eileen, how did you guys vote? Liam voted no, you said,
Yay.
Debbie and I voted yes.
okay, okay.
And then in the end, I believe we did do the Republican committee's waiver on a voice vote, which is reflected correctly in the minutes, I believe.
Okay.
I also thought that the Republican committee's waiver was for the second reporting period, although it says the first reporting period.
I remember they were late for the first one.
Oh, it was the first one? Okay.
Yeah, because they didn't realize that they had a report so soon.
Okay. Okay, then my recollection was wrong. I didn't have time to double check that.
Okay. Anything else for September 16th?
Nope.
Can I motion to accept with the amended changes?
Motion to approve the September 16th minutes with the amended changes discussed.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
So moved. All right, on to September 17th, which was a very short one, just the oath of canvassers and the election of officers. Any changes to that? Okay,
No. I move to accept the minutes of September 17th.
Second.
all in favor?
Aye.
All right, next one is September 23.
24? Oh, 23.
Well,
Yeah.
we should have 23 in there, which was the
Yeah.
the canvas.
Yeah, there's a 23, 24, and 25.
And I know that Liam did those minutes, but did they get, I didn't see a copy where they had been put into the minutes format on letterhead.
It came from Teresa.
She sent them.
Let me find when it came.
Did I just not did I miss them?
They're in the whole pack from Teresa yesterday.
Yeah, October 8th at 1:15.
I downloaded what I thought was everything in that packet. So it was put on letterhead and all for,
Yes.
okay.
Yeah. My only comment to this one, I mean, it was me that wrote it, and I would, if either of you think that there's something different that I didn't accurately capture, I'm certainly open to hearing anything. The title of this one, and I believe the 24th, I was curious if they need to say the Board of Canvassers rather than the Board of Supervisors of Elections, but maybe
Yes, yes,
It
that
does.
was, yes.
okay. So that would need to be changed for those two, and I guess the 25th as well.
Since I'm not looking specifically at that copy, did it also include who was present?
Yes.
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 Okay. And
And
then
yeah.
do we need, because we accepted it at the end, again, I'm sorry, I'm not looking at that version. Do we have that all of the decisions were made unanimously?
Did you vote on them as a group?
Yeah, we voted on them for each section. We would vote to accept.
Yeah, I guess they all need to have.
And by code, they need to be unanimous.
I think we did. Let's see. I have to go.
I'm checking.
It does not have them all on there. But yeah, I guess they all were unanimous decisions.
I mean, we voted on all of them.
Yeah.
But we should note that we voted on all of them.
Can we just put at the bottom something that says all decisions made were made together unanimously or something? Or do we need
Does that suffice, Regina, or do we need to put it after each paragraph?
to pull it?
I'm sorry, so who made the motion? And then you can just add that to the bottom of each page. We could just say blank made the motion to vote on all of these things unanimously, and we'll put them on the bottom of all three of them. So who made the motion to vote on them?
I probably did.
Okay.
Probably, yeah.
So we'll just amend it to say that Member Mercer made a motion to adopt everything that you voted on basically as a group
Okay.
or something along those lines. Unless, Ian, you want to state what you wanted to say at the bottom, since they're your minutes.
That
Okay.
works. I like how you put it. Shall we move to accept these minutes? I'll move to accept these minutes with the.
Oh, I have a couple of other
Oh, you have
things.
more. Sorry.
I
Go
do.
ahead.
I'm sorry. Under the one where it says that 2 voters had already submitted a mail ballot, and it says the mail ballot was processed, there appears to be mistakes or misunderstanding by the voters and not an attempt to vote twice. The Board of Canvassers, so anyway, at the end of that one, I think we should say that the mail-in ballot was accepted and the provisional one was not.
You're right. I said processed.
Yeah, the mail ballot was processed.
So we can say the mail ballot was accepted instead of
I
processed.
think that's a better way of saying it, and that the provisional was rejected.
Yes.
Okay.
What else?
And then under the one where it talks about that found in the Dropbox with the note affixed that stated that the ballots inside had been swapped between the 2 voters, I think it's more accurate to say it was swapped between the envelopes, not the voters.
I agree.
And I also put in, I think it's I don't have it, does it have it that both oaths were signed and that the ballots were counted?
It doesn't address that. It just says 2 mail ballots were found in a Dropbox with a note affixed that stated the ballots inside had been swapped between the 2 voters. So it should be swapped between the 2 envelopes.
But I would say we
Yeah.
should add both oaths were signed, because that was the basis in which we accepted them, and that the ballots were counted.
It does say the ballots were counted.
Okay,
Just adding both votes or both oaths were signed.
okay.
We'll add that. We'll add the oaths.
And then under the mail-in ballot with the severe damage, I would say note that a duplicate ballot was made and scanned and that the original ballot was marked void.
Okay.
And I would do the same for the one saying the ballot had marks on 2 candidates, but clearly indicated one mark was in error. This ballot was counted. Again, I would add that a duplicate ballot was made and scanned and an original ballot was marked void.
Confirm.
That's it.
There's a lot there. I'm glad those were the only things that.
Yes,
Okay.
good job, Liam. And Eileen, your experience comes out.
So
Debbie,
can I have a
anything from
motion?
you on this one?
Yeah, so I move that we amend the minutes of September 23rd to include that all decisions were unanimous.
All right, let's keep that separate. So all in, I have a second for that motion.
Okay, second.
And all in favor?
Aye.
So then if you want to do another motion to accept the other amended changes.
Okay. I move that we amend the minutes of September 23rd to include I'm going to start with that last one first, to include that the ballot that had marks on two candidates,
I think you can say amend it. Can she just say changes as discussed? Yeah,
okay,
I mean, you can read them out specifically.
that we make the amendments as discussed regarding ballots that were accepted but redone ballot, especially, well, there's three of them, right? Three different ones.
Let's just do the amendments as discussed. That would.
Okay,
I think-
amendments as discussed, because otherwise yeah.
Sorry, so second,
Second, yeah.
all in favor?
Aye.
Okay. All right, September 24th, which was the emergency meeting. I just had that it should be titled as Board of Canvassers.
Yep,
Okay.
same. So
Okay.
anything from you, Debbie?
No, I mean, they all say Board of Supervisors of Elections at the top, but then the first line says it's the canvassers, but it should be canvassers in both places.
I
Agreed.
think the title of the meeting should be Board of Canvassers.
Okay, yeah.
So I'm gonna.
I had a question for Regina. Under the public comments, the letters that were submitted were actually read aloud. Does that need to be noted?
No.
Okay.
I'm gonna move to accept the minutes from September 24th with the amendment discussed.
All right.
Second,
All in favor?
Aye.
aye.
All right. And then I think our last one is September 25th, which was the ballot audit. Again, is the Board of Canvassers.
Mm.
And only comment I had was that there was a notation that there was no deviation in the ballot count for the mayoral race. I think since we said that, we should also make a note that there was no deviation in the ballot count for all ward races.
I guess I tried to do that in the last line, but we can amend that last line to say
I just thought it was more specific, just consistent.
just that's fair. Okay, I'm gonna move to accept the minutes from September 25th with the amendments discussed.
Second,
All in, okay, all in favor?
Aye.
aye.
All right, did we get them all?
Yeah,
Yeehaw.
All right, thank you, Teresa and
that was a lot. Thank you, Teresa.
for Regina and Teresa for getting all of that
Yeah.
done.
And Liam, yeah.
I know, I should ask David. David, is there a template that you all use for the canvas? Because you already know the different categories that are going to get covered.
Template minutes.
Yeah, like a template for the canvas.
Yeah, I can download it and I'll email it to Regina.
Yeah, that'd be great.
Sure.
But that might be something whoever is secretary next time might want to use. Because I know it's a lot. It's a lot to keep up with. All right, great. All right, next item on the agenda is an update from the chair. Thank you, David, for being here, because you were also in on that meeting, so you can help my memory. So after it was noted that there was an error in the unofficial results for the primary, there was a concern expressed from a number of levels of government. And one of the things that had come up was a couple of other issues, including the Postal Service. And because of this, Congresswoman Sarah Elfrith requested a meeting with myself. Delegate Jones was in attendance. Jared DeMirandis, who is the executive director of the Maryland Board of Elections, was present. His assistant director, Katie Berry, was there. I'm escaping the Congresswoman Elfrith's assistant. She was there, David was there, myself was there, and also Ashley Leonard from the city was there. It was a good meeting just to kind of clarify the situation that occurred, to make sure everybody understood that this was a human error. It was not an error with the machines, and it was caught and immediately dealt with, and that also an apology was made out to all of the candidates, but especially to Mr. Cusimano and also Ms. Conti. A couple of things that were discussed was how to prevent it in the future. And there were some things that we had also previously discussed and also falls underneath planning for the next, for the general election that's coming up, which I'll get into then. We talked a lot about the need to really promote Dropbox advocacy, that this really is the best way to get drop-in ballots to the election office. Congresswoman Elfrith and also Delegate Jones had some concerns about the delivery system of the United States Postal Service, which we had become aware of, that there was a real lag in when mail-in ballots were coming into the office up in Glen Burnie. I think that the county did an extraordinary job of processing all of those ballots. I think there were about 700 ballots that were processed, and also texts went out to everybody saying, we got your ballots. So there are a number of things in terms of trying to move forward. It will be to communicate more with the Postal Service. In fact, there's a meeting next week with the Postal Service with customer relations to find out how we can avoid this sort of situation going into the general election. Trying to increase the frequency of the contacts with it, and just see if we can prevent it. There were a couple of other issues that had come up that were expressed in this meeting. One was in terms of design of the envelope and the mail piece. I think we pretty much determined that there was only one ballot that was returned to the sender. Somehow it must have gotten scanned into the machine incorrectly, but to our knowledge of those present in the at the meeting, there was only one, and it was the same person who had experienced it. David reported in terms of how this mail piece design met with the state specifications, and that the private, actually, David, do you mind commenting just on the design specifications and also the issue about privacy flaps?
Sure. So we use the same specifications, the specs that the state uses for the statewide elections. So those envelopes were used in 2024, all the way back to the Annapolis 2021 election. We've been using the same specs. The envelopes themselves were sent to the USPS Center for Mailpiece Design before we use them. We were working with one of their folks to make sure that every I was dotted and every T was crossed, so to speak, on the envelope itself, on the design itself, to make sure it would be able to go through their machines. We didn't use the same vendor that the state uses, but we used a vendor that we've used before to produce the envelopes. Generally speaking, I don't think that there was any notable design flaws or anything like that with the envelope itself. I mean, we've used it successfully in several elections now. Regarding the privacy flaps, if you want me to continue on about that.
Yeah, you could just mention it because that has come up.
Privacy flaps, the state had actually removed them several elections ago, and they got a lot of comments and feedback from folks that were upset that their signature was visible on the outside of the envelope on the oath. So that's why they actually restored the privacy flaps back, kind of by overwhelming consensus from our customers. So that's why they have the privacy flaps. Generally speaking, it might be a case where we just can't please everyone. But I think that on the whole, we're better off for having the privacy flaps than not having them.
So in summary, the meeting really revolved around just clarifying how the error took place and the concerns about the Postal Service, the need to increase communication, increase service. Congresswoman Elfreth's office agreed to assist also in that regard and to keep them, keep them in the loop. And then also just kind of clarify what was going on with the envelope design, just to, again, for communication purposes, to share what everybody was thinking, to make sure that we had factual information.
Yeah, I have a question.
Was
anything discussed about the postmarks? Because, we have our Annapolis area and then there's the Baltimore area. And I know one thought was that maybe we could just keep the mail local and not have to have it go through the Baltimore region. Any progress on that?
I mean, that's certainly something we're going to be meeting with the Postal Service next week. That's certainly a good point, and we can certainly ask that. We're going to try to increase the efficiency of getting the mail-in ballots out and also returned. And so whether that means really pushing hard for it to go through Baltimore in a timely manner, or shifting over to Annapolis, we'll have to find out from them which would be the best. But we can certainly note, I'll look again, I can't remember offhand how many ballots there were, but there were a number of ballots that had an Annapolis stamp but did not have a Baltimore stamp. And so we weren't able to verify that they actually were put in the mail on election day. So there were a number of them that were rejected because of that. Again, I know we keep saying it, and I know people don't always trust them, but the drop box is really, at this point, is the best mode of getting your ballot back to be counted. It doesn't take care of getting the ballots out, but we also have mechanisms that if people need to get a ballot and it hasn't come in the mail, that we can get it out to them. I think the county and also our city elections staff, Regina and Teresa, have all really done a great job in terms of making sure that people that want ballots got ballots.
Yeah, I'll second that. The dropout, we're going to make a pretty concerted effort going into the general election to notify all of the mail-in ballot voters about the drop boxes and really push them to return them with the drop boxes if they can.
Yeah, we did. The suggestion was made, or the offer was made at that meeting, to increase the number of drop boxes. And after review, we have 8 boxes in the city of Annapolis, 1 at each polling location, and it was felt that was sufficient. One of the things we may want to promote, which we did towards the end of the last election, was you could put your ballot in any drop box. there were some rumors going around that if you were in Ward 1, you had to put it in Ward 1, and that's not true. You can put your ballot in any one of those. And Mitchell Stevenson is also aware of it. We'll be working to get that out. Anything else?
Just hoping to speak.
Regina?
I just wanted to say that the county also provided us with some of the mail-in ballot envelopes for people who have issues with pulling the seal off, the flap off. We have some additional ones in our office.
Oh, okay, great.
Yeah.
All right. Liam, did you have a question?
Nope.
Okay. All right, well, great. It was a productive meeting, and like I said, we'll be reporting back next week and meeting with the Postal Service. David's meeting with them, I'm meeting with them, and Regina. Okay, great.
Good. That's good.
All right, next agenda item is an update from the city clerk and also the election administrator. So knowing about the additional envelopes is helpful. What else you got?
The only other thing I have, we received a request from the county to vote to reject the ballots that were received untimely. I'm not sure if that's on your agenda. I can't see it.
Yeah, it's
right.
under the new business.
Okay, then that I don't have any other updates at this time.
Okay. So actually, this question will be for David. Do we have a date yet for the logic and accuracy testing? And the public demo?
No, but if you give us a date, we can accommodate you.
I think it is a date in our calendar and on Exhibit B.
Okay.
Yeah, but I don't have them open right now, but I can send that to you tomorrow. I'll verify it with David and send you the date tomorrow.
Okay, because I looked at the election calendar on the website and it was blank.
Oh, okay.
So if you can let us know.
It is on there.
Is it? That's all right. Just send it to us.
Okay.
All right, great. So things are moving forward. All right, we also have an update. I've asked Ashley Leonard to give us an update in regards to a recent situation that has resulted in a PIA request, and also I think there's some misinformation out in the public concerning a decision that the board made back in August. So Ashley, does that give you enough intro?
Sure. Did you want me to talk about the specific candidate's name or just generally?
It's up to you.
So at any rate, there was a certificate of candidacy that came in time that was submitted to the city clerk's office on time. It was complete. It was signed. And it indicated that they certified that they were eligible to be a candidate. Upon further review by the city clerk's office, just checking things out, they realized that on the certificate of candidacy, the candidate was listed as a Democrat, but in the system, it listed that person as unaffiliated. At this point, the state deadline for being able to change your affiliation had not changed or had not passed yet, so there was still time. This board also hadn't received the certificate of candidacy for approval, so the clerk's office notified the candidate. The candidate was unaware that their unaffiliated status was in the system. They immediately took steps to correct it, and within the time frame specified by the state to update those things, and prior to this board reviewing and approving the certificate of candidacy. So from our opinion, all deadlines were met. The certificate of candidacy was acceptable when it was turned in, and no certifications were violated.
Okay. So this is a timeline that was developed in response to the PIA request, and I believe was distributed to you all. Of note is that some research was done. It was interesting to note that in Maryland Matters, it was noted that, I think it's in their May, it's either their May or June 2018, it was noted that the MVA, that there had been upward to tens of thousands of registrations that were inadvertently changed or not noted correctly. And this candidate, when she did go to the MVA to change or to update her license, it did occur in May of 2018. So that's some additional information that in looking into the situation, we found.
So are there others out there then that are, I mean, did the MVA take any
I don't know what happened afterwards.
effort to fix? Because there's probably other people out there then that are registered differently than they thought.
Mhm.
I mean, I believe it was fairly easy to find information online about the MVA issue. So I'm guessing MVA did push out information. But again, it's one of those things that you would have had as a registered voter. You need to go in and would need to check and update.
Right. Any questions or comments?
None from me. Thank you for the explanation and the discussion.
Debbie?
Yeah, it was just unfortunate. And there's been other times where certificates have not been accepted for other reasons, you know, whether it be residency or
And there-
signatures.
To my
Yeah.
knowledge, we haven't done that in this session. Would you agree?
No, just in the past, yeah.
Yeah, well, this is my third term. I don't recall, I recall one other.
Mm.
And that was that was a lack of a signature on an oath, so. All right, thank you, Ashley, for giving us that update. All right, on to new business. There's your late mail-in ballots, Regina. So, David, do you mind giving us an update on what these late mail-in ballots are? Or he doesn't need to, I guess. Okay. Regina, you've got
can-
the info.
I was muted, but
I'm sorry.
basically it's the ballots that we've received since we had to receive the ballots by 10 a.m. on the 23rd in order to be counted in the canvas. These are all ballots that we didn't receive in time or were postmarked by the post office after the date of the primary election.
And it's 22 of them that I have.
22, okay.
Yes.
And they were all checked by the county staff. All the postmarks were checked. So I need a motion to accept these.
I have one question.
To reject.
Does this 22, David, include the 16 that we rejected on the day of the election? Or this is 22 after the canvas that came in after the canvas?
I believe this is 22. This is a different, separate group of ballots.
Thank you.
Yeah, because we had 16 on the 23rd.
Mhm.
So these came in even later than a week after.
Correct.
Correct.
They were picked up in the mailbox, in the post office box, just this week, I think.
Wow.
So
So are these just ballots that were floating around or just got put in really late?
I believe it could be either one.
Yeah.
So
And
drop
pe-
boxes.
Yeah, and people won't know that their vote didn't count unless they check online their history. Right? And then it'll say, even though they thought they voted, it'll say that their vote was not counted.
Right.
Is that correct? You know, if somebody mailed something in and they thought they were voting, and then they're one of the 38 that didn't get postmarked in time, they'll only know if they check. and then it'll just say that they did not vote. Is
Right,
that
we don't
correct,
notify
David?
people. And
No.
these ballots aren't even opened,
Right, okay,
so
right.
can have a motion to accept, or a motion to reject the 22 mail-in ballots that were received after the election date.
Motion to reject the
Yeah.
22 mail-in ballots that were received after the canvass date.
I feel bad, but I second.
Second, all in favor? Aye.
I,
We don't really have much choice.
I know. But, you know, we want people to vote and it just sucks that they try and then it doesn't count.
Well, it's unfortunate that our postal service hasn't been as reliable as
know.
in the past, so. All right, next agenda item is just a primary election review. Couple of things I just wanted to touch base on, which was, we already talked about the post office, the envelope, and the report error. We didn't have a chance to do a lessons learned with the county, so maybe David, if he has some issues, he can add them. I just wanted to note that we did at the Mount Olive Community Center have a gas leak, which did occur, and it was fortunately very short-lived. And 3 people were evacuated. I think there were 3 election judges that were evacuated. No voters. Voters, there were no voters that weren't able to vote, and I think the entire situation was under control in between 15 and 30 minutes. I was really impressed by the county. While this was happening in real time, the county was already taking steps to move that location to another location to make sure that people did have the ability to vote. And that was just in case we had to close the whole thing down. So I think for people that may be watching or people that are asking, what if and what happens, there are contingency plans. And I was really impressed with how quickly the situation was being assessed on the ground by the Annapolis Fire Department and Office of Emergency Management and the County Board of Elections, but also up at the county. There was already plans on how to move it, where we were moving. And so it's nice to know that there's that preparation in place so that if something happens like this in the future, we're ready.
Yeah, thank you.
Can I make a comment on this as well?
Sure.
Was the location one of the locations that I visited. And I was told by, I'm thinking about how exactly I want to word this, but there may be some additional discussion with election judges about issues that come up during the day. I think this was reported by several of the election judges to the chief judge, to at least one of the chief judges that was dismissive of the complaints. So I maybe having a conversation with our chief judges about taking their election judges complaints seriously. I think the election judges had to make the 911 call themselves, is what was reported to me, rather than the chief judge.
Mhm. Okay, that's good to know. I see David writing, so.
It's the first time I'm hearing about that, but we will follow up on it.
Okay.
I can have a conversation with David. If you have more questions, I can talk offline.
Okay.
Sure.
Apparently there was also a machine problem in Ward 1. I'm not quite sure what that was. But there was a machine that I guess needed to be taken down, and then, I don't know, do you know more about that, David?
I believe it had gotten a paper jam.
Okay.
But just in case, we'd sent down a second machine as well. We always have reserve equipment. So just to make sure that they didn't lose a step at all.
Okay, great. Any other issues? I know that we all covered all of the polling sites. That day we all went to at least, I think I did 2 and you all did 3. Any other things that came up?
The only other thing that I heard when I was out and about was about uh, pay for election judges, specifically being lower than the county. And the other thing that I heard was the training potentially. I think this comment was with relation to the last county election where far more election judges were needed. I don't think it was an issue with this one, but there was a comment related to that. But that's not related to our election, so I'm going to refrain
Okay.
from saying that one.
Yeah.
All right, Gina?
As an FYI, we finally finished processing the checks for the judges. The checks should go out next week.
Okay.
2 of my 3 polling places were cold. The judges, they're sitting there and it's all day, so they just were chilly. But one was the gym, so that's tough because it's not easily regulated at the rec center.
Right.
They just need to be told to layer or dress warm.
Right. Okay. Was there anything at your end, David, that would be helpful for us to know, or anything we need to do to remediate it?
We heard from our election judges at Eastport Community Center. They said that the front door was locked most of the day, so we'll have to work with that facility manager to get that fixed. We might want to have the city police over there at night when they're closing up. Some of them were a little uncomfortable with the area. But generally, the election judges performed pretty well. I'm pretty happy with how they did.
Okay, great. Any other comments? Teresa, Regina, Ashley? All right. I think we did well. Mitchell did send out some statistics in terms of turnout. So it's not what we'd like it to be, but it's improving. And I think it was a lot of the efforts that we've been making are hopefully coming to fruition, and we'll see even more with the general election. David, I was curious if you all, sorry I didn't send this up to you before because you probably don't have, you might not have it. Do you have an idea of how many pieces, or like, guess, ballot applications were sent back, like the addresses were wrong or they were non-deliverable?
I can check into that. See
You
how
could
many were
check, that
returned.
would be helpful, because that's been one thing in the last election. People were very concerned about the number of addresses that were incorrect. And I know that the mail-in ballot applications went out to not everybody, because it certainly didn't go out to Republicans, but at least it'd be nice to see if that percentage has gone down.
I think when we did the initial mailing in July or the beginning of August, we sent it to every registered voter, including the
Okay.
Republicans.
All right,
Right.
well, if
We
you have a
can-
mailing that you sent out to everybody, if you have any information on what.
Yeah, we can check into
you
that.
had.
We keep stats.
Okay, that'd be good
I'll
to
find a
know.
report.
Also, how it compares to the last election.
Right. So on that note, in July, everybody got one, and I got one. And then when we responded, you had a choice of, do you want a mail-in ballot for the primary, for the general, or for both? That's the only application mailing that is going out, right? That one in July. There's not another one going out for an application.
Not one to the whole city. We will be sending a smaller batch of applications to any of the new voters that have registered, but we're not planning to do a citywide one again.
Right. So new ones since July will get one, but otherwise in July was your chance to ask for an application for the general. I
Right.
mean,
And-
ask for a ballot for the general.
Well, and you still can, Regina.
I was going to say, Debbie, you still can go online and fill out the application if you choose to, or if
Sure.
you are in the city office building, you can come by our office and we'll be happy to provide a
Yeah.
copy.
Right,
But there's not going to be a mailing to them. They, they had to do it then.
right.
Yeah.
Okay, gotcha.
But the county office did send out a text to all voters who had opted into the Maryland mail-in ballot. And so I think that was a really good
That was good.
text to get out so that people that are going to be prone to wanting a mail-in ballot were reminded. And certainly as part of our communication plan, we can stress that option too.
And when are the general ballots going out?
Assuming that there are no challenges to the content and arrangement, by COB tomorrow, we're going to mail them on the 14th. So they should be to the voters probably by that Friday, within 4 days.
Great. All right, well, that brings us up to the general election planning. So we've already talked about the text. We've talked about drop boxes, no changes. I think we've also said before that after the polls close, we're going to be moving to the mayor's conference room. So I think that'll make
That's good.
things are a little hectic in City Hall when we were looking at tapes and the chief judges were closing up the polling site. So we'll be able to go into the conference room. We've also talked about we're going to plan to do visual comparisons of the machine tapes to the report before we sign it. Any other recommendations for things to change that night? Yeah, okay. And one other thing just to come up is, excuse me, is looking at the canvas dates. One of the things actually did come up in the meeting that we had with Congresswoman Elfrith and also Executive Director DeMoranis was there's a request from the Maryland Board of Elections to begin opening and counting ballots the Thursday after the election. Right now, we open the canvas, we do our oath of canvassers on that Wednesday. And we usually wait till the following Tuesday. But the request has been made that we start on that Thursday, November 6th, which will give us an opportunity to give a more accurate picture of what the results are. They, of course, would still be unofficial because we would still need to reconvene again on Wednesday, November 12th, to count any ballots that have come in through the mail and then do a final count on Thursday. On Wednesday, November 12th. We won't be meeting on Tuesday, November 11th, because it's Veterans Day.
So if you guys decide to have 2 canvas dates, you'd have to vote on that so we can notify people.
Mhm. Okay. Any discussion, comments?
I feel like there's benefits and downsides, and I'm open to arguments either to do it or to not do it.
I think the public is very, anxious to know the results of an election. Even though it's still gradual, it's still parts will come out on the 4th, another part on the 6th, another part on the 12th. I can go either way as well, but
I'd
it's
like
nice
to
to
move-
get some
I'd
numbers
like
out, but
Well, I'd like to move forward with doing it partly because it is a request from the Maryland. It's a request from the executive director, and it is something that in the last election cycle was noted that, people were anxious, not just voters, but also candidates. And so I think it is certainly, since we haven't done it in the past, it's worthwhile to do it. And I think it helps to promote mail-in ballots if we can get that information out sooner. Liam, you mentioned about downsides. Do you want to bring any of those up?
The downsides are the resources expended to have canvassers there twice, but that's pretty much it. I mean,
I mean, it is another day.
The three of us, I think, are committed to doing this, so are committed to being servants of the city. So,
Yeah, I want my pay increased.
it's fine.
I mean, it is something that it does fall on us and also to the staff. The good side is that, you know, come that Wednesday, November 12th, it's going to be much shorter. We're really probably only dealing with whatever comes in the mail.
Yes. That's fine. It's all good for me. I'm happy to vote in support of it.
All right, can I have a motion that we we'll begin opening ballots and canvassing on Thursday, November 6th.
I move that we begin canvassing the general election on November 6th and complete it on November 12th.
Second.
Okay. Second, all in favor?
Aye.
Okay. All right, I think we're done on the general election. All right, I know it's getting late.
Oh, we're only an hour in. No biggie.
What's
We're
what's
only
that?
1 hour in. I thought this was gonna. I thought we might be going much longer. So.
Oh, well, you know,
Doing
we can
good.
drag it. All right, let's move on. We have
Do we want to release David? I don't know if
well, he can hang out if he wants, or he can leave.
I don't think there's anything else for you, David. If you don't want to stay, you're welcome to leave it.
Thanks. I'll remain on just in case.
All right. All right, so we have some campaign fund reports, everybody's favorite part of the evening. I apologize if I gave you the wrong impression that we were going to do a lot of them tonight. I think it was great that Teresa and Kaylin got the ones that came in this week out. But the plan was for tonight to try to attempt to at least clean up some of the past ones, which was mostly the Sheila Finlayson's, which was an amended report from the first reporting period, and then to look at her second reporting period report, because we deferred that pending the amended report. And then also just look at the pay-on reports, and then any additional amended reports from number 1 and number 2, if they came in, but I don't have a list of those, but
There are just for reference. We have 2 from Creek, 1 from Paplione, and 1 from Schendelmeyer that all were submitted to us, and unless there were others that were in the folder and added later, because now I think they have hit the deadline for all of those amended ones, correct?
right. So you're saying Creek, Schandelmeyer, and what was the other one?
Papliani.
Paplione.
Okay. All right, well, let's start first with Alderman Sheila Finlayson's. So they did submit the first report. They were asked to clarify, there was wasn't a math error as much as a transcription error on the summary sheet that I saw that was corrected. And then we also asked for an explanation of one of the donations, and I don't recall seeing that.
I did not see that.
Yeah, I didn't see that either. I also think we're missing. Wasn't there a request for sheet?
You have her report. If you scroll to the very last page, she sent you a copy of what she had been doing previously, and the board didn't have an issue with that donation in her prior reports. It's the very last page of what she submitted as her amended report.
This one doesn't have.
Yeah, I don't
Just
have
the cover
that.
sheet. Unless it got cut off. Maybe it got cut off in the scanning.
No, I sent it to Eileen earlier
Yeah.
today.
Okay. I don't
This
think
is
I
what
got
I
that.
sent to you all, yeah.
Yeah, it's what she sent you. And if you look at the last page in previous reports, she had that same donation. She says she makes it every year. And so she sent you a copy of a previous report because you had questions regarding the donation.
Did you send that to us, Eileen?
I did. Well, Regina sent it to me and I thought I sent it to you all
Today or yesterday?
this morning.
Yeah. Okay, so I think what you had sent to us this morning was the one that this looks like her second campaign report from
Right.
from 2025.
I didn't get anything. I got something from you yesterday about the just a ballot notification for the mail-in.
Right.
So Debbie, it's from 12:04 p.m. today.
From Eileen?
Yes.
No, I'm good. I'm under everything from Eileen. I have nothing today from Eileen.
Okay.
Your-
Was I on the list?
Yeah, I can see. D Yatsik 418 @gmail.
Yeah. That should be it.
But the attachment that I see on here is her second campaign, the second period from 8/18/2025 to 9/7/2025. So it's
That's
not,
that's the first reporting period.
and this is the first one went until 8/17.
It's not in junk.
You didn't, here, I'm trying to look it up to see.
I mean, if someone could put it on the screen, if I mean, otherwise I have the one that was, I can share what I have.
If you can share what you have, because unfortunately I don't know how to post that on
Yeah,
there.
I just checked junk. I don't have it in there. Let me see here.
So this is what was shared by Kaylin. This is the amended first period. If you scroll to the bottom,
Oh, I found it.
this
Okay.
is what's supposed to be what Regina was talking about, but it ends. That's the last page.
Right. I don't think the explanation was given, unfortunately, in the submission. It was given
Okay.
verbally.
So then the email that I have from you has the 8/18 to 9/7/2025. This is the second period. So I have not seen, and I'll be honest, I didn't really, I wasn't the one that was asking for additional information. My concern at this moment is, I think we were asking for an amendment to Schedule 3 that needed codes or something, and that doesn't exist on here either. So I feel like maybe I'm only getting half of the.
I think yeah.
I guess this skips from page 5 to page, I don't know, maybe that's because I think we had problems with that before, but it says please see attached, but there's nothing attached.
Right.
That page isn't in here.
Yeah, there's 6 pages, but it's all forms. Yeah.
Well, I'm looking up from what I have. What was let me see if I can find it. What was needed, what we asked her to have was to summary sheet line 4 was the total was incorrect.
So I think
And so it was to correct the summary sheet. And then on Schedule 1, there was a missing method of payment, which doesn't look like that was included.
Schedule 1 was a missing.
Schedule 1 was missing a method of payment, I guess, for a check, or
I
it
think
didn't have a
that-
check number.
Yeah, I think that is here now.
Well, what was sent this morning is her initial. Is there an amended? Are you looking at an amended one?
What we're trying to do is she needed to amend the report for the first reporting period, which we had not seen. And because we did not have that, she submitted it, but it hadn't come to us.
Okay.
And so then we deferred the second reporting period because we wanted to see the amended report first. So what we're looking at should be the amended report for the first reporting period.
Okay, and that's what I'm still looking at because what you sent today is her second one. Her second reporting period.
Well, the one I'm looking at says is from 7/1/24 to 8/17.
Yes, that's what I have up. Are you seeing?
That's what
Okay.
I have, yeah.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I'm looking at what I got today.
All right, well, look, if you can look at
Okay.
what,
I'm coming out of it. So Liam, you have something up? Okay.
Yep. Can you see it?
I'm looking at all these other things. No. Now I lost my Zoom. That's all right. I'm looking at all my reports here. Okay. I have to find my Zoom window. Okay, got it.
Okay.
I see it.
Okay.
so she was asked to correct line 4 of the summary sheet, which I believe they did.
Yep.
And then looking for Schedule 1, a missing method of payment, there was a check number needed to be added.
I think we have that.
Okay, so that's there. And then for disbursements, we said, please provide information on how the expenditures relates to the campaign. And nothing specific was given. I think the point was that the campaign gives to a number of nonprofits and a number of groups, as do other candidates. I think the original question in this regard was because she was a sitting alderwoman, was this somehow related to alderwoman work as opposed to a campaign? But I think the premise is this is the same as what I've been giving to others and has been accepted in the past. So do we want to ask for further information or do we want to go ahead and accept this amended report?
Yeah, I did not personally have an issue with the payment the first time around. So I wanted to just confirm on your analysis. But I thought I just read that, so now I'm confused. So I thought it was something on Schedule 3, but I may have gotten confused between things. Here it is. Summary sheet.
That was the disbursements. That's the provide information on how expenditures related to the campaign that's scheduled.
Okay, yes, I am ready to approve this.
Okay.
Any more discussion? Do you want to make a motion?
I will move to accept the amended fund report from the first fund reporting period, July 2024 to August 17, 2025 for Finn Mason.
Second.
Second, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay. And then do you have her second reporting period?
All right, that is what you sent today.
Yeah.
Oh, that's right. Now I'm remembering. I sent that just because, as a reminder, because I wasn't sure if we had to dig that one up.
I appreciate it. All right, I'll share my screen here again.
Yeah, I have that one too.
Share. All right. All right. So we have 655.24 carried through. That first page got duplicated, but it's the same thing. And all of these are marked off. So I think this first page just got duplicated, scanned twice.
Yeah.
Okay.
Does anyone have any concerns? Does this 655.24 match the one we just approved?
I'm sorry,
Does the 655.24 match the one we just approved?
I believe so. I believe I saw that. I'd have to look it up. I checked it earlier. I don't have it in front of me, but I did check it earlier. Now watch me be wrong.
Yes, it does match. Awesome. All right, I'm gonna move that we accept the second campaign fund report from, or the second period campaign fund report from Finlayson.
All right. Do I have a
Second.
second? Okay, all in favor? Aye.
Aye.
All right, great. Okay, now, Ashley's still with us. I'm glad. All right. So just to recap, former Alderman Fred Paone submitted the first the number one reporting period, which was let me see, which was due August 19th. So the period that was July 1, 2024 to August 17th, 2025. We had some numerous issues with it, most notably names and addresses weren't included. The math, I believe, wasn't consistent. And we asked for it to be basically completely redone. Did you all get a chance to look at the report that he submitted this time as
Yeah.
amended?
Yes.
So if you look at Schedule 3, well, if we go through Schedule 1 is crossed out and initialed. Number 2 is crossed out and initial, going to Schedule 3, disbursements. The names and addresses and the codes are there. They're handwritten in, but I think you can include them as legible. And then on schedule, and there's another second page for Schedule 3. And then Schedule 5 is when it's crossed out and initialed. So this report was received September 22nd, but it was due September 10th.
Okay, so
But
can we
There's a
move
waiver
to,
somewhere.
can we move to accept the, does anyone have any concerns about the content of this fund report?
I didn't. I wish it was not presented the way it was, but I'm willing to accept it.
Okay. I mean, okay. All right. So I'm going to move to accept the campaign fund report from the first reporting period from Payon.
Second.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Okay. All right, so let's move on then to the second one, which he has listed as his final report.
Yes.
Now, when a candidate is closing out their account, city code says any surplus funds need to either go to the central committee or the city, or can go to the nonprofits, to a nonprofit in the city of Annapolis. This is noted as a final report, but the disbursements all go as transfers to campaigns. So it's inconsistent with city code. The city code concerning final reports is listed on the campaign fund report instructions. And I did tell Alderman Payon when I talked to him a couple of weeks ago where surplus funds could go to.
Eileen, I have a question about this. I mean, in this instance, if everything has been paid to other campaigns and there are no surplus funds, can it not be, does the candidate have to wait until the next reporting period to say there's no surplus funds and I'm closing the account?
Well,
Yeah,
Ashley,
should it
could I
be just, yeah,
help
not a
me
final report, maybe just a,
well, maybe Ashley can help me on this. I believe the way the code says that you have to do this, you have to get rid of your surplus funds to these different, to this, either the city, the central committee, or a nonprofit before your final. If, as part of your final.
Correct. That is my recollection as well. Because if you don't get rid of all of your funds, then you can't final out. You can't just keep the funds.
Right, but you can't just give them to a campaign either. These are surplus.
No, we have specific, because the thought is that the candidate raised and collected the money for a specific purpose. So there has to be some limitations on how they disperse it at the end so that it's still going towards things that relate to sort of the election or the city. Versus like the problem is if they collect in all the excess funds, they don't use it and then they can just give it to whoever without any guidelines. It's not technically their money, so to speak. So there have to be guidelines on it.
If Alderman Payon had submitted this as an amended report and then filed a report after this as the final report, it would probably be consistent with code. Would you agree, Ashley?
Yes. But yeah, the order is
right, so this should be an initial third report.
Well, no, he didn't give us a second report. This is his second report.
Oh, okay, yeah, initial second report.
Right. So if he wanted to make this amended, he could, but he's got to now he's late for his third report. And these are all incurring late fees.
Well, okay, all right. Well, I'm a little confused. All the money has all been dispersed. There's $0 left, and we're saying that someone can't close their account.
What we're saying is he shouldn't have given that money to those. What he did is not consistent with code. He should not have given.
Yeah, but candidates give money to other campaigns all the time. We've seen it on how many other campaigns.
Right.
The issue isn't who he gave it to. It's just that this is his final report. And the way the code reads, if you have surplus funds that you're giving away on your final report, it goes to the central committee, the city, or a nonprofit.
Actually, I think you're right, Eileen. When a candidate has been inactive and he has money, they have money to disperse, like during non-election years, I've only been here during non-election years before, and this, this is the code during non-election years to give to those places if you want to close out your account. But since this is during an election year and other candidates are running, and we know that they transfer and donate money back and forth. So to close out his account, he's doing, during an active election year, he's dispersing funds to like-minded candidates.
Right, but he's closing his campaign
Yeah.
with surplus funds.
That's
Code
fine too.
says surplus funds go to those three places. They don't go to campaigns.
But they're not surplus funds. They're funds.
Okay. Can we just, I want to take the legal opinion here. So Ashley, your opinion is that this, you cannot be dispersing any, you can't submit a final report that has disbursements to anything that's not the city or the other or a charity.
Yeah, because the thought is, and perhaps we can clarify the code, but the thought is on all non-final reports, you can be doing various things because it's not a final report and those funds aren't considered surplus at that point. But once you're submitting your final report, you've paid off all of your campaign expenditures. Anything else after that part for this final report is then becomes surplus funds, and surplus funds have to go to one of those three things listed in the code.
Right.
So it's really just about the timing. Once you shift into the final mode, you've shifted from like active ongoing funding into surplus funds.
Okay, I understand.
Is
All right,
this marked as an initial as well, or I can't tell?
Well, he looks like he did it and then he said final. So I've got the code in front of me. It says
It's-
surplus funds prior to the time of filing the final report required by the chapter. Any surplus funds remaining after payment of all campaign expenditures shall be paid to the city central committee of the party of each candidate as a member or which the political committee is acting, paid to the city to help defray the expenses of the election in all other cases, or paid to charitable organizations in the city of Annapolis that are registered or exempt from registration under the Maryland Charitable Solicitations Act. That's
okay,
what
so
the code says. Prior
it seems
to.
like there's two avenues just for clarification's sake. Either this has to be amended so it's not final, and then a final report has to be submitted that just says it's final and everything will be zero, or this has to be amended so that everything is refunded and all of these funds are being given to the Republican Central Committee, which then could be given to the candidates.
Yeah.
I think that's an accurate depiction. I mean,
So does it say number 2 initial report and a final report? That
the one that I'm looking at that is his second report looks like it says initial report. It says
And-
initial report for number 2, but it says final, so it has both.
Okay. All right, so yes, so if it's not legal this way,
To
then
be careful. I think we just need to be careful that we are essentially potentially giving the candidate an option. We could put it so that they're compliant with city code, because currently they're not compliant with city code if this is their final.
right. So it seems to me like it should not be the final.
Well, that's not for us to say, but
Right.
we could go back and say, can you clarify, is this the initial number 2 and you're going to file a final later, or is this your final?
But at that, I mean, final is definitely marked off. So I think it just needs to be amended, and one of those two paths that I outlined needs to be what takes place, and it should. I mean, I can communicate. It sounds like, I mean, you have a relationship or something, like, can we just communicate these things, because this is kind of complicated, and you know, yeah.
I'm happy to call my frustration is that I thought I was pretty clear when I spoke to them before. But I'm happy to go back and tell them that to please clarify, and if this is not the final, if it is indeed an initial number 2 report, we can look at it again. But that does mean that a number 3 report needs to be filed, and that can be the final.
Now,
And
if
then
somebody from this,
we also need to, I can also, again, communicate late fees, which at this point on these 2 reports is $500 combined that I've calculated. So,
yeah, so that is another thing. If it's going to be amended and they want to ask for some of the money back from the candidates that they've given it to pay the because it's both of them, to pay the $1,000 in late fees, that's would be an option.
All right, well, we'll give them the option, which I think is being nice.
Right. Is there
and-
is there a limit? What's Liam, you said $1,000?
It's $500 per report is the limit, and both of them were, I think, the same number of days late, right?
I believe the. I'd
Were
have to
you
calculate.
calculating them together? I mean,
Right, I think that the one that was, the amended report was due September 10th, and it was 12 days late because it came in on the 22nd. The report that we're saying we're not clear if it's an initial number 2 report or a final report was due September 9th, and it came in September 22nd. So that's 13 days late. So the first amended report is $240, because it's $20 a day. And the second report is 13 days, so it's $500. If another report is filed, a number 3 report was supposed to be filed by Monday. Was it today or was it Monday? Regina, when was the deadline for the third reporting period?
Monday.
Was it Monday, the 7th?
Yeah, but they thought that this, I mean, if this was a final and they're zeroed out, I
Then,
don't think they thought there would be a third one.
right.
well, Debbie, you're not you're not helping them.
I know,
I mean, if it's.
but I mean, I'm just thinking like they're thinking, you know, I'm assuming
have
how
two
they're
choices.
thinking.
We have 2 choices. If we want to accept this as a final report, it is not consistent with city code. Our other option is to, since it's marked in 2 different places, we can send it back and say, please clarify. And if this is submitted as a number 2 report, we can look at it as a second report, but then they still owe us a third report, which they can decide, is that going to continue or is it going to be a final report?
Okay, so Teresa and Regina both had their hands up.
I was raising my hand so that you could recognize Teresa.
Oh, okay. You're muted, Teresa.
So I was just looking at the schedule, and I'm not sure if I heard correctly, but the third campaign report is on a Tuesday, October 7th. And if I misunderstood, I'm sorry, but I thought I heard someone say Monday.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I wasn't sure. Okay.
Thank you. Okay, so I think it would also be, I think we're gonna ask for an amended report. It seems like this is where it's going, and we can do that right now first. But then I would ask that we assess the waiver request now so that the candidate can consider how whether they want to pay that with campaign funds or not. Now, if they pay that with campaign funds, I guess they should amend the report and pay it now. Well, but then it's going to go in the next reporting. I mean, there's just going to have to be a sequence of reporting periods, and they're all going to have to end up being included, because I don't think that could be in the final report either. Ashley, do you have an opinion on that? Can a final report include a payment of late fee?
Well, if there's funds available, I don't know if she's there. I mean, if funds are available, you can pay it out of the campaign. If not, it
No,
comes
I
out.
understand that, but I'm saying, can the final report, because we said the final reports can only have very specific things. So then there would need to be one more report after that as well.
Are you talking about the third report, or are you saying there's going to need to be a 4th report?
Okay.
Final report.
So we're gonna all right. Do we want to take care of this, the vote on this needing to be amended first?
We need to verify that. So if I'm hearing people correctly, sending this back to the campaign and the candidate and saying, clarify if this report, talking about from the one that says August 18th, 25 to 9/7/25, is that a second report or is it a final report? If
Okay.
it's a second report,
Well, we should just.
file a final
It can't
report.
be a
If it
final
is the
report.
final report, then we need to consider it again and at our next meeting. That make sense?
I would prefer to just say that it needs to be amended because they're, both boxes are clearly checked and it's gonna end up being amended anyway. You're saying they're gonna clarify whether it's final or amended, and then I just imagine that they're gonna want to. I imagine that they may want to have an opportunity to amend it in order to save enough money to pay the fee that I personally am not going to vote to waive in this instance.
Okay, I guess I'm thinking, and maybe this is just semantics. We have a report in front of us. We're not sure, is it initial or final? If they say it's the initial one and it's just the number 2 report, we can say, okay, then it looks okay, it's late. So there's a fee of $260. When are you gonna close out? And they'll say, oh, our next report's gonna be our final report. So it's not really amending this report other than maybe clarifying it. Does that kind of make sense? And if they come back and say, well, it's a final, then we have to say it's inconsistent with city code. So it's their decision on what kind of code, what kind of report this is. I have to move because my battery's losing.
I guess my point is, like, there's a couple of candidates here. This is probably not the last one, but there's a couple of candidates where we're running in circles, and if we don't do some hand holding to get this across the finish line, we're gonna be stuck, and everyone's
Okay.
gonna feel more pain with it.
I'm trying, believe it or not, I'm trying to make it less complicated by not calling this an amended, by not asking.
I know, but
for another amended
we're
report.
putting ourselves in a situation where we're likely going to make them pay a fee out of pocket, a substantial fee out of pocket. That's going to make somebody probably quite upset, I would imagine.
And this is something that all the candidates are made aware of, that there's late fees. So to me, let's find out if it's an initial or a final, and then once we know that, but we can't really call it an amended because we haven't accepted one as a second report anyway. So I think we have to keep the late fee situation separate.
Okay,
So
but is
we
somebody gonna have a conversation? If we make that request for clarification, is somebody gonna have a conversation with them about the implications of how they answer?
I'm happy to put it in an email and send it to them. Again, the implications have been explained in the past verbally to Alderman Payon.
Okay.
I reviewed how a final report works, and it's on the instruction sheet for the campaign fund. So I don't want to get into the nitty-gritty of that. I think we just have to look. The one in front of us, are we going to accept it, or are we going to send it back and ask for clarification on what type of? And I'm happy to say, okay, if it's initial, this is what's going to happen. If it's final, this is what the ramifications are. And they're also welcome to watch our discussion this evening, since it's late.
Yeah, I don't mind talking to the treasurer. Who's trying to pick up the pieces on this, I think. But
I truly don't. I don't really have a strong opinion either way, and I'll vote in support of whichever one. If you guys move in second, I will vote in favor of whichever direction you want to go.
yeah, I mean, we need to get this over the finish line somehow. So I would say we should ask, give them the that it's not, it can't be a final. I mean, it doesn't, it needs to be amended either way, whether it's an initial or a final.
I guess maybe I'm not making myself clear. We can't amend something that we haven't accepted yet.
Okay.
So we can
We
ask for
haven't
an amendment.
accepted this because we have to find out, is it an initial second report or is it a final report?
Okay.
I understand what you're saying, Eileen, but we're asking them to pick one of the two.
Correct.
Initially, we'll accept, but then they don't have any funds left to pay fees. So they may want to say, oh, it's final, so that we have to request an amended report, and then they have an opportunity to change the
Right,
report.
and that can be explained to them. But I just need from us right now to say what we're doing with this report. Then it's their decision to decide how they want to proceed, given the information that they'll be given.
We should, I move, if we need to move that, we send it back for clarification about whether it's an initial or a final. Right?
Yeah, so there's a motion on the floor. Or on the table.
I'm not gonna second it.
Okay.
Can I second it, Regina?
Yes, ma'am.
I second. All in favor? Aye. Any against? Do we want to roll? Can you give a roll call, Regina?
No, I said aye.
You did say aye. I'm sorry. Okay. All right, just to clarify. So this will go back to the campaign with the question, is this an initial report for the second reporting period or is it the final? If it's a second reporting period, this is the late fee for it. And the contributions are consistent with code. If it is final, and if they choose to make it final, they'll need to amend it or just submit a late final. But if it is a final, if they say, no, this is our final, then we'll make them aware that their disbursements or their expenditures are inconsistent with code. Okay? Do I have it right?
And at that point, we would need an amended report.
If they say this is a second report, we'll have to say, okay, does it look okay? Is it consistent? But they're ready for a third report. So they can file a third report and that could be their final.
But
I'm saying if this comes back and they say this is a number 2 initial report and we say it looks okay, there's nothing to amend.
there's nothing to amend, but they'll have no funds to pay any fees.
That's not our problem. That
Right.
maybe they want to do it that way. In the past, candidates have paid out of their own pocket. I mean,
Yeah.
their decision so far is they've made these contributions. So if they realize that they could say, okay, but again, we have to just look at this one. We haven't looked at anything else they've submitted. So let's send it back. I'll remind them of code. I'll remind them of the penalties and then let them submit again.
Okay, do we want to adjudicate the late fee waiver now?
I can go either way.
At the bottom.
I think we should do it now while we're,
Okay, I'm fine with that. What are people's thoughts?
All right, they said not able to close the bank because they were waiting for checks to clear. Yeah, so they were trying to close out the account.
that speaks to a final report.
Yeah.
So I'm going to first clarify one thing. This waiver was made, well, both the amended first report and the second report were submitted on the same day. There was only one waiver submitted. So I want to clarify that this waiver is with relation to the second.
Probably.
Okay.
Again, it doesn't, I'm trying to zoom in so I can see it.
It doesn't say it on here.
It doesn't say, so it,
Normally we would know that things were that, the same day it's submitted, but
well, there is a line there for when they're supposed to put in waiver of late fees for the following finance reports, and
yes.
it's not in there.
Oh, yeah.
So I think we just send it back with the thing and say you need to complete this form.
okay.
Okay,
Okay.
so I guess, do I need a motion to say we're going to return the waiver for completion?
Okay, motion to return the waiver for incompletion and specification of which campaign finance report it's related to.
Second.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Oh, deep breath.
Yep. Oof.
Okay. So close. All right, the other one I have on my list is we're still waiting. I talked with Ross Arnett, and he says he submitted an amended report that closed out his campaign. Well, he said we had asked him for an amended report for the first reporting period, which he said he submitted, but I don't recall seeing it. Regina, do you have it?
No, ma'am.
Is it
It's possible that it could be in our office because Ross was in, but I talked to him about something different. It was not the campaign.
Sound like he dropped it off. He said he dropped it off in September. So we need to get that in order to get that clarified. He said he took out he said he took out the outstanding obligation that we asked him, and he he listed the fees that closed out the accounts. But the only report I have is the one from August that we said needed to be amended.
Okay. Well, I'll check my office tomorrow morning,
Okay.
and we'll see what we can find out.
All right, so I think we need to defer his until we get the other one. Do you all agree?
Yes.
Hmm.
I mean, we don't have anything in front of us to do anything on.
Correct. I have not looked at Creek, Chandlemeyer's, or Papalianti's, but if you both have, I'm happy to follow along if you want to review them, or we can defer them to the 16th.
I think we should go ahead and do them now.
Okay.
Okay with that. Shall we start with Papalianti? Maybe.
Okay. Can you put them up?
Yep. This is the second campaign finance report. Do you have the analysis still? Or do you have the analysis? From the
Yeah,
second
I
one?
do. So this is his amended report.
Yes.
Okay, so the amended report, we asked for clarification on whether the $2,500 contribution was from a personal or a business account. And if it was a business entity, it exceeded the maximum contribution, and to submit an amended report. So I think we left it that somebody was going to contact him and
Yeah.
ask him.
Yeah, I did. Yeah, it's a loan. I mean, that's what they they redid the form to make it, he said it was supposed to be a loan, so they amended it to that. Right, yeah. Schedule 2, yep.
Okay.
So can you put it back? Let me just take a quick look at it. So it's a loan, but but the question was this but it wasn't a personal check. It was a business check. So was this loan made from the candidate himself, or was it made from his company?
Here he appears to say that it's from himself.
Yeah. So I mean, I know that when you're a proprietor, for tax purposes and all, it can be one and the same. I know.
Debbie, we looked it up. It was an LLC.
Right.
Yeah.
We had this discussion before, and the
Right.
question was, is this the
Yeah,
check
I mean, I don't
came
know.
from the business, if I
Yeah.
recall.
Yeah, I don't know. I just know, yeah, working for Ron George, we got into some of this too, where what's personal and what's business, but I don't know.
Well, here there are defined lines, I think, between them. I don't know, I remember the last time it was potentially from the business. I don't know if we want to check and see if well, last time we asked for it to be clarified whether it was personal or from the business.
Could
He is
ask for the check.
clarifying here.
Ashley, do you have any thoughts on this?
Repeat that. Sorry. I was distracted by something.
So in the last report, it was listed by his company, and the check number was, so the assumption was that it came from his company.
Okay.
And it exceeded the $2,500. It's $2,500, so it exceeded the $1,000 that an alderman can have.
Right.
So it sounds like he was asked, was this personal or a business contribution? And if I'm hearing Debbie correctly, he said it was going to be a personal loan from the candidate.
Right.
But again, I know this seems like splitting hairs, but this is what we're trying to follow. The check came from his business, which is an LLC. So
Yeah.
the check comes from his LLC. Can he say it's a personal loan?
I wouldn't think so. That's not how LLCs are set up.
Is it the same check number? Is it, this says campaign self loan.
Okay, so has he corrected? Did he give the money back from?
Yeah, I don't know. I didn't look at the different check numbers. But campaign self loan.
Liam, can you go to start at the top with this? Start with just going to the summary sheet and just go work through the whole thing and see if maybe he's given it back and changed it.
Oh, no, it's not in there as that.
Okay.
It just has been taken off. And I don't think he didn't resubmit the number 3, maybe he did. Sorry, he did. I'm mistaken on that. So it's the same check number.
Okay.
So the last time he had it, sorry, let's clarify all this. Last time he had it, it said Academy Realty / Jack Taglioni. So that's why we asked, and the / was handwritten in. That's why we asked for it to be clarified who it was from.
So Debbie, was he asked, was the check from his company or was it from him personally?
Man, I'm looking for my notes. I talked with the treasurer, or I emailed, and then from then on, I heard from the treasurer, and I asked, is it supposed to be, is this from the company, or is it personal? And oh, here it goes. I was told, and I probably have the email, but it was, they said it's a loan. It's gonna be a loan from himself. Yeah, so they amended that's what they were to amend. They were to amend the report so that it was a loan, a personal loan.
Okay, well, I don't see where the full report is amended. And again, I think we just have to ask for the check, and maybe we just can ask for a copy of the check.
Okay.
Because if the check is from an LLC, it's not a loan directly from the candidate. If it's a personal loan from his checking account, then he's fine. Would you say that's correct, Ashley?
Correct. Just, I mean, yeah, an LLC is a limited liability company, so it has set up with multiple members. It can't be used as a personal payment method.
So it's either one or the other, and it sounds like we're asking for additional clarification.
Right. So,
Or to additional evidence to confirm that this is a personal.
right. Debbie, do you want to follow up with them, or would you prefer
Yeah.
them or I give them a call?
I can. I just, yeah, I wish, I guess that it was clearer, you know.
Well, the clearing part is, he's got to fulfill the report, and maybe the easiest thing to do might be to say, could you please submit a copy of the check?
Okay.
And also just explain to him, if the check is coming from the LLC, it's too much. If he wants to loan himself campaign money,
He
he
can loan
can go
himself
over the
$500.
$1,000, but it has to come from a personal account.
Can you have a loan if it's not a contribution over the $1,000?
You can have any amount, right, for a loan?
I don't know. It's a good question. Ashley, do you have a thought? I think it's still counted as I don't know.
I don't know. I'd have to look that up and see how the language is worded.
Well, the candidate can loan themselves any amount, right?
Correct.
We're talking about if it is from the LLC and it needs to be amended to that, can the loan be over $1,000?
Right. I don't know. So we'll get that information. So if the question then is, can someone other than the candidate loan the campaign more than $1,000 for an alderman? And if
No,
they can,
sorry, I'm looking at the section right now. It says that aggregate amount of all outstanding loans to the campaign to a candidate shall not exceed $1,000 during a cycle for any person campaigning for alderman, and shall not exceed $2,500 during a cycle for any person campaigning for mayor. And that's directly under the outstanding loans section.
okay.
So it does have limits.
Okay. All right. So you got it, Debbie?
So loans can only be 1,000,
Correct.
but a candidate can give any amount to themselves.
Right, and they can loan any amount to themselves. But also if someone other than the candidate is loaning the campaign
Oh,
money,
right.
it also has to be an agreement.
Yeah, I think, I mean, so the 1,000 would be if it's loaned from the company. But yeah, but I believe that this is a personal loan.
We don't know, Debbie, until we
Right.
see who wrote the
Okay.
check.
Yeah. I think that was their intent.
Well, let's find out who wrote the check and
Yeah.
explain to them the caveats with that.
Yeah.
So the bottom line is if the check is from a personal account and we see the evidence and we're good. If the check is from the company account, then it needs to be refunded and we need to see that on the amended report. And then then you can make the loan in the amount. Did I characterize that correctly? So if somebody's watching from this campaign, they'll understand.
Right. And I'll write it down in the analysis.
Okay.
But if it is also a loan from a non-candidate, there needs to be a loan agreement attached to the amended report.
And it can only be up to 1K, right?
Correct. Okay, so we'll iron that out. I'll put that in, and if you can relay that. But I think a lot would be cleared up if we can just, if they want to submit the check or if they want to redo it.
Okay.
Okay. Regina, do we need to make a motion for that or are we good? She's still on.
I'm still here. You don't need to make a motion because like you stated, it's gonna be in your analysis.
Okay, all right. All right, next one.
We do Schendelmeyer.
Sure. And Schandelmeyer was to submit a report with original signatures or to go in and have the report signed by both the candidate and the treasurer.
It is signed here. Do we also have the note in there about the contribution, PAC contributions?
Yeah, keep going at the bottom, at the end, there is some things, I think.
Oh, this is the second report. That's what we have going on here. So this is not the first report. This is an amended second report. Okay, so this is the one, sorry, this is the one where we said the signatures had to be changed. That was the only issue with this one. We still have the first report where we had the PACs.
Right.
Did we approve the first report?
We approved that. We decided that I believe what I have is that we accepted it and
I don't think that's the minutes. I have that we requested resubmitting on September 16th.
well, the PAC was on, I think, the first reporting period.
Sure. I understand. So if you want, we can accept this. We can accept the second one. If for some reason there was an issue with either of the PACs and something had to change with the numbers, then potentially both of them would need to be changed. We accept this one. I read your note. I think we just need to talk about the PACs here for a second, because I think that's relevant to being able to what we do with the second one. I read the note, the information that was shared. I don't think that, to me, it does not demonstrate that the PACs are in good standing if they were, just because they were a PAC last election cycle doesn't demonstrate that they're a PAC this election cycle. And we searched them, and I don't think we were provided with the initial articles of organization or something to that effect, but that doesn't, those were years old and not representative of them being in good standing today.
So this is an aside. We'll find in the next reporting period, there is another candidate that received monies from the same PACs and has submitted the appropriate documentation.
Okay.
But perhaps we could just ask this campaign to search a little harder.
Well, I honestly, I'm fine. Do you want to direct me to who that is, and then we can just pull that up now and look
I
at
don't
it?
think you've got, I don't know if you've gotten it yet, but again, it would need to be given. I would want to double check it, but I believe it's the same two groups. So I think we just have to look at what this campaign has submitted. So
Okay.
I'm
So-
looking at, so from the standpoint of having the signatures put on it, that's been completed.
Yes, that's correct.
Okay. And we're still asking for that documentation. I don't have it on this analysis. I thought we had deferred it the last time, or we just decided to accept their what they submitted.
Yep. Let me pull up the minutes that we approved this meeting.
When was that amended? When were these amended reports due for the second one? Because are these the ones that went out late, kind of?
Right. So they're due the 14th.
Yes. Okay. That's fine.
So how about I contact this and just let them know that they can submit these other two sheets to show that they've complied with that, with the PACs.
Okay. I just want to confirm that we're all on the same page on the 16th about what the minutes we approved were. So I'm confirming that. All right.
So are we finished with Chandelmeyer?
Yeah, we're not. Are we saying we're not taking any action, or we are approving the second report, but not the first one?
I'm sorry. I'm just,
Yeah.
I'm looking at, I don't have what we said. I'm looking at what we're expecting from the amended second report. And what I have that went out to the candidates says to submit signatures of the candidate and the treasurer. So what you just showed me, is that the amended number 1 report, or is it the second report?
That was the second.
That was
report.
the second.
Okay. It was the original second, or it was the amended second?
It was the amended second.
It said
Okay.
amended, yeah.
So
I'm fine. This is what I'm saying. I'm fine to approve the second amended report. We were looking for our first amended report, still from Schendelmeyer, which I think was related to the PAC donations, and there may have been something else. I did not get that amended report in the package. And I know for other candidates, we've hesitated to approve a later report without approving the first report, given if the numbers change,
right.
approve the second report.
Okay. All right. So why don't you you want to make a motion?
I'm not, do you guys want to move forward with approving the second one?
Yeah. Yeah. So his second one, right. He needed the signatures.
Okay, but you're
But-
saying we're approving the second one, but aren't we approving the
Yeah.
amended second
New
report?
info. I believe we approved this report. Sign original submit.
Yes, the amended second report. We can approve that one. I'm saying we may approve it, and then if the numbers change, but you sound confident that we will have evidence that the numbers are correct from the first report eventually, one day.
The only reason the numbers wouldn't be correct is if we had to give back that money.
Yes.
Right. The
Which
only thing
could
with the first
Could be
report
shown
was
up in the
that-
future
yeah.
report.
was the PAC contributions and the second one was the signatures. And the signatures were corrected and
So I'm okay with approving the amended second report.
me too.
Go for it.
I move that we accept the amended second report for Chandelmeyer.
Second.
Do I have a second?
Yep, second.
He did it.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye,
Aye.
okay. All right, and then we have Creek. And I have Creek was the report he submitted was inconsistent with the amended report from the 19th.
Wait, hold on, guys. I'm sorry. We gotta go.
All he had like carried everything forward, I think.
Yeah, I know, but I just have to go back. We had already accepted the second report from Schendelmeyer. We did that and we approved the minutes earlier this meeting. It's right here. It's in the minutes from that we were approved from September 16th.
Okay.
I'm sorry, Liam, you were breaking up. I can't tell. Debbie, are you hearing him okay? I don't know if it's.
Yes, I got him.
Okay,
So Eileen, the minutes that we accepted today from September 16th, we had in that Brooke Schendelmeyer, we had accepted his second campaign report at that time.
okay,
We had requested an amended first report, but we had accepted the second report.
okay. So are you saying we still need to, I mean,
we can do nothing with the first report. I'm just saying what we just did was redundant. We had already accepted a second report.
But whatever, yeah.
okay.
All right, we can move on to the Creek.
All right, just move on. All right, are we going to do Creek now or we're going to defer it? It's 9:16.
I think we should do it because I think there's an issue and we might as well recognize the issue and tell him that there's an issue. I'll share my screen.
Yeah, I think this one I was a little confused about. Let's see.
Okay, so he's moved so I talked to Creek about this. He's moved the cash balance out of the first, so that's good. He has amended this, so instead of the $500 as a contribution, it's a loan. That's good. It's shown on Schedule 2. The available cash is here. This is where I think we have, and then all of the in-kind contributions are still in-kind contributions to the campaign. The issue, I believe, previously, when the loan is made the first time, you don't, I know from a balance sheet perspective, you would show it as a total outstanding obligation. We have asked candidates not to show it as an outstanding obligation the first time it's loaned, or the initial time it's loaned, correct, right?
Correct, yes.
Okay, so that's where the error is here. I think otherwise, this is fine. I specifically told him to not show it, even though it's counterintuitive, but it's in there anyway. So I think we need to request an amended report where that's taken off the outstanding obligations.
Right, so he has the 500 in Schedule 2 and 4.
Yes.
And I believe that was the initial problem. So he's just repeated it in the amended?
No, the initial problem, there was a cash balance that was start a beginning cash balance when it was a brand new
okay.
account, and then also it was I believe it was listed as a contribution when it was intended as a loan.
Okay. Well, let's see if we can't get that fixed before we start looking at his third one next week.
Yeah. And then the second one, this one, I believe, this one we have the same issue, except the reverse, where the loan is shown on the summary page from Schedule 2 when it's not a new loan anymore. Now it's not actually on Schedule 2, so this one's just a summary page issue.
Okay. Can you give him a call or give the treasurer a call?
Yep.
And help them out since they are first-time candidates?
Absolutely.
Okay.
All righty.
All right, any others? I think that's enough. All
Yeah.
right, because we're gonna have a lot to look at on number 3, and the fourth reporting deadline is going to be October 28th.
Yes. Can we move to accept or to request an amended first and second report from Creek? I'll move to request an amended first and second report from Creek.
I'm
Second.
sorry, maybe it's just late. I thought he hadn't made those changes, what I was looking at. The summary sheet was still
There was still errors, yes. The
still
loan-
errors.
Yep. The first one had the loan shown up on Schedule 2 and 4. I think that you don't like to do. And then the second one had it showing up on the summary for Schedule 2 inadvertently.
So he still needs to do a second amended for the first reporting period.
For the first and the second reporting period.
Yeah.
Right.
Basically summary sheets. Yeah.
One is a summary sheet. Yeah. He had said he was going to have me look at these before he submitted them, and then it took me a day to look at the email, and they weren't in. I think they were dropped off the attachment, and then I told him that, and he said that he had already submitted it to the city at that point. So
Okay.
that's
All right. So we're not approving anything right now.
I would like to request an amended report because it has to be amended again.
Right. Okay. I mean, we can just put that on the analysis. I think.
Right. I don't think we need a
We don't
motion.
need to do it. Am I hearing you correctly, Regina?
Yes, ma'am, you can just vote on your analysis at the end.
Right. Or summary.
Yeah, your summary.
Okay.
And I'll send that out beforehand for you
Okay.
all to look at.
Okie dokie.
All right, so that's all we've got. So we meet next on the 16th. And in regards to campaign fund reports, I think we can continue reviewing amended second reports and third reports, but I think we can put a priority on active candidates. I don't know if we're going to get through all of those in one night, but I think we should do anyone that's going to be on the ballot for the general election. What are your thoughts on that? And the others, if we need to, can wait.
Yeah, we'll prioritize the active for sure. Yeah.
It's just then we start to have different deadlines for the amended reports. It gets complicated.
It's already complicated.
Eileen, I agree with Liam.
I think we should
We
just,
can just plow through it. I'm okay with that.
okay.
I mean, hopefully people are going to be, these reports are going to get cleaner as we move along. So we're not going to be, having to send so many back. That's my hope. Do you all want to, I see you smiling, Liam.
It's a great hope. I hope so.
What are your thoughts on, would it are you comfortable with keeping it as a virtual meeting, or would you all prefer to do in person?
I don't have a preference either way.
Um, Either way, yeah.
Okay, Regina, do you have a preference?
No, not really. But if you need David, it's easier for him to join your virtual meeting than to come to City Hall. So if anything happens to come up where you need some feedback
Right.
from him, that would be my only concern.
I think we're mostly going to be doing reports, but things can always crop up. So if you all don't think it's necessarily an advantage to do in person, we'll just go ahead and stick with the virtual. Is that okay with you guys?
Yeah.
All right, so we'll just keep it as a virtual on the 16th.
Can I just say one more thing? In the calendar, your LNA is on the 28th.
Okay. All right. At what time? 10 o'clock?
Yes.
All right. Anything else under new business? Nope.
I think this probably isn't the right venue because I think we're losing steam now, but can we be prepared to talk about the 3525 next conversation? I know
Yeah, I was gonna bring that under general discussion. So we
Oh.
can move to general
Oh,
discussion.
okay. Sorry, I didn't realize there's another thing. Go for it.
Sorry. No, I mean, you can raise it. It's just we're moving, we're past new business. Let's move to general discussion because we don't have that particular item on the agenda.
Awesome. I know there's discrepancies in terms of whether there's another rules committee meeting that may or may not be scheduled, and I think I've heard differing opinions about that. I don't want us to be the holdup, and so I think we've probably passed our ability to think critically maybe about this tonight, given the length of this meeting. But I would want to hear any concerns, and I have a couple of concerns with the legislation as it's written. If there's any major concerns, we can talk about it next week if that is better. But I was kind of hoping to talk about it tonight, and then we could be prepared to create an opinion next week if a meeting did come up from the rules committee.
Well,
Yeah.
my understanding is there's not going to be another rules committee this month. Alderman Sheila Finlayson, who's the chair, has asked me, have we had a chance to look at it? And I said, no, due to elections. And so my understanding from her was that she thought it was reasonable that we discuss this after the election is finished. And
so
that would be my preference. We would discuss it at our November meeting.
And we can do that, but then the legislation can't pass, so we would be the holdup in terms of the legislation passing this year.
At this point, it's at an impasse at the Rules Committee. It hasn't been reviewed by the Rules Committee.
I hear you, but what you're saying is the Rules Committee isn't scheduling a meeting potentially because we haven't reviewed it.
I don't think that's the reason. I don't know what the reason is. I just know that they had their Rules Committee. It was not on the agenda. And to my knowledge, there's no Rules Committee being scheduled. Regina, do you know if there is going to be one scheduled?
That's a good question. Give me a second. Let me look at the calendar.
I mean, if Rules Committee schedules another meeting and they put that on the agenda, then it would behoove us that we would need to have some meetings to discuss. I've just been working off that it hasn't gone to Rules Committee yet.
I totally hear you. I also recognize that we don't meet particularly frequently, and sometimes it's hard for us to have a meeting. And that's why I would recommend that we proceed with having a conversation at least generally. Now, I think we've eclipsed probably our ability to talk about it tonight constructively. So
well-
we can move on. But
No, I mean, I think that ranked choice voting deserves pretty much an entire meeting for us
Yeah.
to discuss it and review it. I don't think it's something that should be just tacked on to, after reports or something like that. I would prefer to make it a time when we also can actually do it in person so that if people want to come and speak, that they can speak. We can also do that virtually, but I would prefer to have it really just make it the major part of a meeting, not an add-on to with reports. So we
Right.
could do, depending on what the situation is, if we had to add another meeting.
Well,
Regina?
I just reviewed the calendar. There's no rules committee on the current calendar for October. And the last meeting of the city council is the 27th or the 28th, the fourth Monday of October. So if the legislation didn't get passed on that meeting, it with sine die, it would die. Because if it's introduced in a term and it's not heard in that term, it dies after the last meeting of the council. So that it would have to be reintroduced with the new council.
But we could still,
I know I understand all of those facts. Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, no, I think this needs deliberation that it deserves. And we're in election season now with the current process. That is our priority right now. So I definitely think it needs to, I mean, it looks now like it's going to have to wait.
right. I think if we sit down and really address it, I think we can give good feedback so
Sure.
that if and when the legislation's reintroduced, it may be I mean, I think I don't want to say better or worse or whatever. I think our input would enhance that deliberation in terms of, if they could submit the same legislation or they may choose to rewrite it a bit.
I
That's
feel
worth
similar.
discussing.
I'm
Yes.
sorry, what, Liam?
I feel similarly to that. I would agree, and the feedback I think is important. I will acknowledge that I think that this election cycle and us being busy with election cycle has potentially been a barrier to us and therefore the rules committee talking about it, because they could have talked about it on the 4th and didn't, because they didn't have an opinion from us that they were waiting for. So I'm say all this to say I think it's extremely critical that we push to have 5 members on this board, because the lack of our ability to talk about things outside of this meeting really limits our ability to move forward on things, particularly when we have when we're in an election cycle and we have to be really focused on an election cycle.
And drafting that legislation can certainly occur, but again, it hasn't occurred because the general feeling has been, once we're in election cycle, especially after August, you wait until after elections to start, changing election laws. So I hear what you're saying. I disagree that the only reason that it didn't go to rules is because we didn't give them that opinion. That's not what I heard. I was told it wasn't on the agenda. And when I was asked, had we had a chance to look at it, I said, no, we hadn't had a chance to look at it. And Alderman Finlayson said, then it, but I think I do not want the perception to go out that it's just being held up by us. I mean, there was a lot on the rules agenda. And unfortunately, perhaps if this legislation had been introduced last year or had been introduced in the spring, we would have had an opportunity. But to have it introduced at the end of July did make it difficult for us to address it. I mean, we've been meeting almost weekly on just election business. And I would say that something of this magnitude would really almost need our attention for 2 meetings or one very long meeting, one meeting to really discuss it, and then one meeting to come up with a recommendation that we agree with. And if we have legislation changes, then that can fall into it too. And if I recall too, Liam, you requested that we also, if we did meet to discuss this, that it did include some other people that would assist us with review. So that makes it.
Yeah, no, I think my takeaway from this is that it is critical that we get 2 additional members, because we can talk about things separately and be productive outside of meetings. But right now we cannot, because we only have the 3 of us, and every time 2 of us talk to each other, it's a meeting. So if there's any city council members watching, please, we need 5 members on this board. That's all I'll say.
Well, it has been given to us, and after, in November, we can ask to draft that legislation. So it's on us. And we can do that and get it in time that that it be passed before the selection is made in March. But it's really on our plate, really. So I'm certainly willing to entertain that discussion and that drafting of legislation once we get through the election.
Excellent.
Would you prefer to do that first, or would you prefer to do ranked choice voting first?
Well, I think what we've just said is, I think what you've said is that the practicality, unless the rules committee decides to schedule a meeting, which some city staff said that they thought that they might. So, but outside of that, which I think is probably doubtful, and we won't be reviewing specific legislation in terms of giving feedback on specific legislation, but perhaps a broader conversation about how legislation should be written, because the proposed legislation can't be passed from a time frame perspective.
Right, but we could certainly comment on it so that if it's drawn up again, it could integrate some of our recommendations rather than be redrafted in the same format.
Yeah, I think I have no other general business if anybody else has general business.
No.
Okay, all right, so we have our meeting on the 16th, election day is the 14th. We have our logic and accuracy on the 28th. And certainly if something changes with the rules committee, we may need to meet again. I mean, I'm not saying we're not going to, but I'll wait to hear if there's any changes.
What did you say is on the 14th?
Did I misspeak? The 16th is our next regular meeting. The 4th is election day.
Of course, yeah.
And logic and accuracy is the 28th at 10 o'clock. We could actually potentially, if you wanted to, continue our meeting on the 28th if we don't get to all of the reports. It's just something to think about. And it would still be before the election. Okay. All right, any other business?
Dinner.
Dinner, okay.
I'm getting up at 4:10.
Can I get a motion to adjourn?
I move that we adjourn at 9:37.
Second.
Second, all in favor. All right, thank you,
Aye.
everybody. We got a lot done
Yeah,
tonight.
thank you, staff.